and he's on the line. Hello, Matthew.
Boys, Missile. Good
Bonjour.
to talk to you, mate.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
Oh, here we
monsieur.
go.
Oh, I tell you what, you're talking to role model of the year here. Do you know what's funny? When you meet my two children, if you meet Jack firstly, you'll go, what?
Yeah.
Wow, what a job he's done as a father. And then you meet the other bloke and you go, my God. They should have took him away from him earlier.
Oh, yes. How are you, Matthew? And reacquainted with your newly engaged partner, the Missile. And well done, gentlemen, too, by the way, on what you achieved over there. What did you
the
achieve?
engagement? Well, yeah, look, I got a bit of advice on Matty. No, Matty was actually none the wiser. We obviously spent a lot of time together in Paris, but I didn't leak the news.
It's great news. It's fantastic. You're a lucky man. She's a champ, Rose. We had a great time over there. It was fantastic. And I'm indebted to Missile too. You know, to go over there, and I've said this before, Missile, I said it to you, is that I've got a higher respect for journalism now because, you know, to cover rugby league, it's what I know. I've known it my whole life. But to actually go over there and have to cover sports and cover things that I didn't know inside out. My God, it's hard work. And leaning on Missile, I mean, the thing about it, Joel, is, you know, before we did every podcast, you know, you're going, okay, have I got all the names right here?
Yeah.
Have I got, is it 4x100 metre relay? Is it, all these things I had to check with Missile, and he accommodated me. At times, I think I was driving him mad when we got there.
What about off air? Joel was asking me about my favourite journos over there and what were the personalities like and all that sort of stuff. And I was trying to explain to him our favourite Pete Badel.
Yeah.
Bigger than Germany. Bigger than Germany.
Yeah.
Mate, it was fantastic. All the rugby league journos over there, geez, they were good. It was fantastic. And, of course, Crash was over there. Crash Craddock was just a gentleman. Fantastic. But Reedy, Pete Badel, Dave Riccio. Have I missed anyone there? Oh, we just sitting there telling stories, and Pete, you know, when he hit 97 million views on what was originally once called Twitter, he was just, mate, he was cock of the walk. He was just going, look at this, boys, 23. We were sitting in the car with him, and it was amazing. He was going, look at this, boys, Bombers up to 21 million. When we pulled up 5 minutes later, it's 24 million.
Hey, Matty, what
we
about...
have a beer. It's 28 million. And all of a sudden, the next day, he goes, boys, 97 million. I'm bigger than Germany.
It was so good.
What about... I love this because I've definitely done the same thing. I'm getting up nice and early to get the coffees. So I went and get the coffees to the wifey. I've got SEN on the app. I'm listening to Brandy and Vossi. And I've just, whilst I'm waiting for the coffee, I've looked at the Instagram, and there's Dave Riccio with Brent Reed and other colleagues, and there's any number of beers in front of them, right? And it's live. It's just been posted, right?
Right.
And then next thing you know, Vossi says, coming up next, David Riccio from Brent. And I thought, this would be good. And then he goes, g'day, boys, it's Decathlon Dave here. And I just knew how hot he was at the time.
Yeah.
And it's just stuff of beauty, isn't it?
It's good stuff.
Pete Badel, quote of the trip was, we're sitting there, myself, Missile, Reedy, and Pete. And I just, you know, my general conversation, I looked around, I thought, how good is this? We're in Paris. The Arc was just behind us, and all the colour in the streets. And I said, Reedy, you been to Paris before? Yeah, I have, if you don't. Yeah, that's great, you know. Pete, you've been to Paris before? No, Matty, I have. I came here on a Contiki tour once upon a time. And I said, fantastic. How old were you? 18, 19? He said, no, Matty, 34. He actually snuck in by a month.
Oh, man. To be his roommate on that Contiki tour would have been all time.
Have both of you blokes got Olympic fever now, or no? You've been there, done it.
Yeah, no, it's great, Joe. You did the Sydney Olympics. Yeah. I'm sure every Olympics has a different feel to it. Yeah. Paris is such a big city that in parts of it was buzzing. In parts of it, you probably couldn't tell as much. But, yeah, I'll certainly be back for LA.
It was awesome. I loved it. You know, going to the swimming every night with Missile and just having him point out the nuances of everything was amazing. And the swimmers, it was just incredible. Like Leon Marchand, like
Oh,
Yeah,
how good
Missile,
was that?
what he did, that night when he did the 200-metre butterfly, honestly, the 200-metre butterfly would be up there with the 400-metre hurdles as far as, difficulty, I reckon.
Yeah.
And he gets up, he wins gold, gets up on the dais, French national anthem, they're screaming and going crazy, they're so patriotic. He just holds it together, gets off the dais, walks out the back. An hour later, he's back out there and wins gold medal in 200-metre breaststroke. It was phenomenal. Kaylee McEwen did similar. I was just blown away. It's the equivalent of playing a half of rugby league, going into the sheds at half time, coming out 15 minutes later, and it's a new side you're playing against.
Yeah.
It was just a remarkable achievement.
Wow.
I haven't seen you since the closing ceremony, Matty. So the opening ceremony was a bit fruity. It was a little bit different. But the closing ceremony, and what I'm most excited about, they did the handover to LA. Then we saw Tom Cruise, Snoop Dogg, Tupac. And that just got me excited. All right, this country, LA, is going to do the Olympics very well.
Oh, man. I tell you, we missed Snoop Dogg, didn't we? We got tipped off one night that Snoop Dogg and the American basketball team were going to be at this function. So we turn up there, myself and Missile and Rose. No Snoop Dogg.
No
Ganja, no Snoop Dogg, no Snoop Lion.
You know the male's Missile and Matty. The male is that SoFi Stadium, this $1 billion stadium. The swimming's going to be there.
Yeah, it is, in a football stadium.
That
That's
is-
why I was thinking when they do Brisbane
They have
Olympics,
to.
just drop the pool in Suncorp.
Our main event in the Olympics is the swimming,
Yeah.
right? Imagine having the swimming at Suncorp. Would you sell it? You'd sell it out.
You'd sell it out. Yeah, you'd sell 50,000. Well,
Yeah.
you'd easily get, say, 30,000 Australians, but you've got
You'd sell
everyone
it out.
around the world coming here.
Yeah.
You'd sell it out.
Have to do that.
Have to.
Yeah, that was an amazing stadium, wasn't it, over there in
Yeah,
Paris?
it was.
The rugby union side, Racing 92, it was their stadium. They were the ugly duckling of French rugby. Stade Francais always the biggest, and then they were taken over by a multi-billionaire. He bought Dan Carter, and I think Owen Farrell's playing there now, and he built a new stadium. And that's where the swimming was. It was like the stadium in Vegas and SoFi. They'll wheel the grass in, and for the swimming, they wheeled the pool in, and sometimes it just switch mode. It was like a nightclub in there at times. I remember once the nightclub was playing and everyone was going crazy, and sitting behind us were two of the Chinese swim coaches, and we actually got them going. Remember, we were dancing, come on, brother, let's boogie. One was really into it, the other one wasn't so keen.
Hey, Missile, just on that, right? So they say that one of the greatest Olympic atmospheres was that opening night in the pool, Sydney Olympics at the Aquatic Centre. What would just out of interest, what would the crowd be maximum that night? Any idea?
Would have been about 15.
15. So
Yeah.
could you imagine that same thing, 50,000 at Suncorp Stadium?
Yeah. It'd be insane. And, I mean, Queensland is a home of swimming in Australia, as much as it pains me to say it. Australia is almost a home of swimming in the world. Like, we punch so far above our weight in swimming, more so than any other sport. So you would sell out 50,000 every night. I guarantee it.
Wow, I agree.
Yeah, that would be something. That would be incredible. Yeah, it was. It was a highlight. It was just so much. So much great stuff over there. Even just going to the beach volleyball, going to the skateboarding, things like that. It was just a great vibe. I mean, you go to things like the skateboarding and the beach volleyball, and the atmosphere was incredible because it was just full of Brazilians who were just going nuts. It was very good.
The one thing both of us missed, Matty, you'd gone home, I slept through this one. The breakdancing.
Oh,
Thankfully, they've already cancelled it for LA.
Yeah.
Joel, I think I've talked it down on air before. I'm pretty sure Brooksy was there one morning when I was having a crack at, it's a bit of a joke, they're adding all these extra sports. I think this is maybe a blessing in disguise. Maybe the Olympic Committee sits back now and goes, okay, we can't just bring in every hobby that people have.
So you think the gun of the Ray has just went...
yeah.
It's
Let's
just harpooned
punctuate
it.
this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Ray Gunn shot breakdancing dead at the Olympics.
So good.
I tell you what was incredible. I was chatting to a couple of local blokes down here today, a couple of surfers, was Chalpu. What'll be interesting with LA, I think it'd be a mistake to put the surfing on in like Malibu or something like that. They got to send it over to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I think that'd be extraordinary. Put it on a pipeline or Sunset.
Yeah, I love that. All right, Matty, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Rugby league. We are now into round 26. So what do we got left? 25 games to decide this premiership. What's the top of mind? What are you seeing? What are you feeling? What are you thinking?
It's very, very interesting. At the moment, like the Roosters are second favourites, and you look at the Roosters side on paper and you go, okay, and you can see they're warming up. There's just something within that I'm not convinced about the Roosters. Whatever it might be, it's just probably a lot of it is just gut feel. I still think Penrith.
Wow.
But there's one, and I said this on Tuesday, and I'll elaborate further on it. One thing about Penrith. Habits, whether it be good or bad form in rugby league, as I said the other day. What Penrith have got into a habit. If the moment the game kicks off, they just hop into the arm wrestle. They're the champions of arm wrestle, no doubt about it. But they're playing too patient. They're playing too patient. If you have a look at the last 6 weeks, the game's either been on the line with 10 minutes to go, or they've been behind something like 14 points. And when they've got a result out of it, Nathan Cleary saved their bacon. We saw it in the grand final. Okay, we saw it in the grand final last year, and we've seen it numerous times this year. And then, we saw what happened with the Dolphins. The Knights, they were in trouble for a little bit. The Parramatta game, 7 minutes to go, they're down by 14 points. Again, Nathan gets them home. But the Chickens came home to roost in the last couple of weeks. 22-all against Melbourne. With about 15, 16 to go, Nathan does his shoulder. Storm take control at the end of the match and win at 24-22. But the big one was the Raiders last week. Inside balls, playing really conservative early, which I don't have a problem with. I like the way they build their game. But you go, guys, you've got to break out of this. You've got to start scoring points. They dominated field position. They dominated possession. And they still got beat. The Raiders pipped them on the post. In my opinion, what they're doing, they're giving lesser teams an opportunity to beat them. The Panthers need to start fast. They've got to go out there with the attitude. They've got to give themselves a chance to blow an opposition to bits early. And if the opposition proves themselves worthy, then settle into the grind, back into the arm wrestle. But at the moment, they're starting the games too slow.
Would this be something Cleary has spoken to the team about? Because I remember there was something in the year they won the grand final where he said we want to win the first 20 minutes of every game, and then they blew Parramatta off the park in that grand final. Would he be sitting down with them saying we have to focus more on this 20 minutes?
Look, certainly, Missile, without Nathan, I just don't think they can. When you've got one of the greatest pressure players that I've ever seen in your side in the 7 pulling the strings, okay, you can send it down to the last 10, 15 minutes and you're favoured to pull it off. But without him, they've got to start fast. They need to just play a little bit different. Even, fellas, with him, right, when he gets back, they've got to start fast. They've got to. They're giving lesser sides too big an opportunity to beat them.
Who's the team most likely out of the cloud? So, say the Bulldogs don't make the top four, rather. Manly, Cowboys, even Sharks from fourth, if that was the case. Yep. Who's the team most likely to go there who's not named Roosters, Panthers, Storm?
The only one that really comes to mind on gut feel are the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
The reason I like the Bulldogs, boys, is that they're not trying to play Diet Storm. They're not trying to play Diet Roosters or Diet Penrith.
Yep.
They have got their own unique style, okay? And it's going to work one way or another. Now, what I mean about this is it's styles make fights. So this week they're going in against Manly. Right? Manly got Paseka, Aloiai, Olakawatu. They've got a big physical pack. Meanwhile, the Dogs have got a way smaller pack. They do light feet, high skill, high IQ type football. When they get into that really big games, that difference in style gives them an opportunity. So, could the Bulldogs win the competition? Absolutely, they could.
Morning glory tomorrow,
Matty. I'm excited.
Yeah, they can. Absolutely, they can.
They're standing up, Joel.
Matty, tomorrow, of course. What about sweet Benny Hogarth running that show tomorrow? Morning glory, mate. He's flying, by the way. He's flying. What do you got?
What we're going to do is something. Hutchie begged me, so can we start to take some calls?
I noticed that. Did he? Mate, he's advertised it for 2 years, and then he's taking calls. What's Pepe Le Pew in
between? I tell you what I'm going to do tomorrow, right? I'm going to change tack because you open up to callers and you get people just saying, "How do you think the Dragons are going to go?" I just don't find it entertaining. So what we're going to do tomorrow, 11 o'clock is going to be whinge o'clock. So I want people to ring up at 11 o'clock and just whinge about anything.
So nothing positive?
Just nothing positive. Just pour it on us. That's what it's going to be. Going to be whinge o'clock tomorrow at 11.
Yes, that's good. So just contain that. I love that. Matty, well done, mate. You've done it for El Jana, and I think myself and Tim Manor might tuck into that with Spud tonight. Well done. Good for you to join us. We appreciate it.
And good to talk to you again, Missile. Once again, thanks for Paris, brother.
Thank you, Matty. It was a ball.
Yeah. It was. It certainly was.
Good
Stays in Paris. To remain in Paris.
See you, and by the way, a lot of texts yesterday, guys. Tyron Wishart, the listeners loved him. Matty Johns and Fletch are going to have him on Sunday night, so check that out.